How sweet, how heavenly is the sight when those that love the Lord in one another's feast delight, and so fulfill the word. When each can feel his brother's sigh and lift him there apart. When sorrow flows from eye to eye and joy from heart to heart. When free from envy, scorn, and pride, our wishes all above. Each can his brother's family hide and show our brother's love. When love in one delightful stream through every bosom flows. When union sweet and dear esteem in every action glows. Love is the golden chain that binds the happy souls above, and he's a pair of men who finds his bosom glow with love. Page 711, 711. Let's be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love. The fellowship of kindred minds is like to that above. Before our Father's throne, we pour our ardent prayers, our fears, our hopes, our aims, our life, our comforts, and our cares. We share our mutual woes, our mutual burdens bear, and often for each other flows the same when we asunder part, it gives us inward pain, but we shall still be joined in heart and hope to meet again. Mark in your songbooks, page 939. 939.
Great. Oh, good. Hurting in my knee, but that's beside yeah.
I'll send it. How much do you know about Hosea?
His name begins with an H.
His name begins with an H. Oh, Hosea is to believe to have prophesied or started his prophecies, his writings around 750 BC. We're going to look at that a little bit. Taking this first chapter through verse 1, and that's because, when they divided chapters, sometimes they didn't exactly get them right. Every now and then they'd stick something in with something else, and chapter 2 and verse 1 probably fits into chapter 1 better. And be looking at that. There's some things that people say about Hosea. Some want to make it just an allegory. The problem with that is the Lord doesn't say it's an allegory.
Didn't say it's a what?
Allegory, analogy.
Allegory. Okay.
Yeah. And because of some of the difficulties in it. And some of that we'll point out as we'll go. And especially in the idea of the first couple of verses, or the second verse, is some of the things that people get into difficulty with. And what we do know is Hosea seems to be from the northern kingdom. He's the only writing prophet from the northern kingdom, if that part be true. And he prophesies to the northern kingdom. His main point of his prophecy is to the northern kingdom. Some of it is fulfilled in his very days, and some of it pointed more spiritually to our time or to the first century, to Christ's time. And we'll point some of that out. You have a thought?
Well, my thought for Hosea is no one else, none of the other prophets had to live their prophecy like he did. It's a very interesting story.
It really is. And he did, and it should teach us some things as we get into and about what it really means to live for God. And I think that's part of it is for us to understand that Ezekiel had some places where God said, go and do this, and he had to do it. But not like Hosea. Hosea had to make a life decision that affected his life. And I like what I was reading today concerning Hosea. A lot of the things that God had him do was to show how God was going to treat Israel and how he even treats us today. And so we should incorporate that as part of it. So let's start with verse 1. The word of the Lord that came to Hosea, the son of Berai, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. It's interesting. You get one king from the northern kingdom and 4 kings from the southern kingdom. Jeroboam the second, which is they often referred to, because you had Jeroboam who started the northern kingdom, and then this was the second person to be called Jeroboam as a king of the northern kingdom. He probably reigned, from what we can see, the northern kingdom longer than any other king. And he definitely lived. Now you see I took the time to look this up. The time prophecy approximately around 750. The only problem with that is we have these approximate dates that kind of with Jeroboam the second kind of looks kind of short there. So it might have been others. Brother Kaufman says he probably prophesied between 30 to 50 years from his writings. And that's something else that we don't always realize. We kind of look at something and we say, well, it was written in boom. And don't look at the time frame sometimes of what it took to finish it. And so we just have a starting point with God, and then we have finishing. Now, as you see here, Josiah lived from 790 to 739 BC, from what we gather. Jotham, 750 to 731. Ahaz, 735 to 715. Hezekiah, 729 to 686 BC. And Jeroboam the second from 793 to 753 BC. So he actually lived about 40 years old. And he was one of the longest reigning kings in the northern kingdom. The interesting part is, you remember a guy named Jehu? He is Jehu's grandson. And that gets important when we get into the first part of this prophecy. Now here's some of the difficulties. God says, when the Lord began to speak by Hosea, the Lord said to Hosea, go take yourself a wife of harlotry and children of harlotry, for the land has committed great harlotry by departing from the Lord. American Standard, English Standard both say a wife of whoredom and children of whoredom, because know that the land has committed great whoredom. What did God say about marrying a harlot? No, you're talking about 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Well, the first thought is he said don't do it. But did he specify who not to do it?